In this video, we've got the Arrma Felony, and this is a really cool street basher, and I know this is just the body. The car is sitting right back there. In this video, we're going to see what it takes to get this off. Now, when we got this, I really do like the old school look to it. It's just old school muscle car all day long, and I really do enjoy that. But at the same time, after a while, I'm thinking it needs a personality shift, and what we're going to do here is we're going to see what it takes to put this body on it, and this is off the Infraction 6S. This is also 7th scale, and these two came out right about the same time. So both of these came out at the same time. They're both on the same platform. This should fit on there, but there is an issue. The Felony's got larger back tires than the Infraction, so there's a little bit of change over there. The bodies are shaped a little bit different. One of our viewers got in the comments and said he'd done a swap like this. I want to see what's involved. In this video, we're going to get this one off, and we're going to show you what it takes to put that on, and we're going to see if it works. All right, so before we get down on the bench, I want you to have a look at this real quick and see what it is. Now, this is a pretty heavy machine, being 7th scale and 6S, and it's substantial. It really is. But the body system has this area right along here on both sides. And what those do is they lock into the side rails here. Let's get this on. So they lock into the side rails, and it makes it feel substantial right down in the bottom here. We won't have that on the Infraction, not just swapping the bodies. Still, at the same time, we're going to do that, but there's something else you got to see. So when you have a look at these have external components, and one of them is right here, and this is a skin that goes over the top. There's a foam block under this. There's a splitter right down here, and we're going to see how that fits together. Is the foam block the right shape? We'll have to find out. Of course, we've got some new wheels and tires for this thing, but on the back, we have basically the same thing. So this is a skin that gives it a certain look from behind. It's got a little exhaust port. There's also this heavy plastic piece down here. I'm not quite sure how that's going to fit until we get after it, but still, we also have these, and these are the four posts that hold the body up to grade. In other words, it holds at the elevation that you want. They might also require adjustment. There's 4 holes here per side, so there's 2 on this side, 2 over here, 2 over here, and 2 over here. Hopefully I won't have to adjust those to fit the other body. It would be kind of nice if you could just change a couple of skin pieces and swap the body. Still, at the same time, if you take a close look, you can see that this is the front size, and the rear size is bigger on the Felony, so it's got 2 different size tires and wheels. Kind of an odd setup. But if you're going back to the muscle car era, that's the way this needs to be to look right. Hopefully, we can fit these in that other body. Let's get on the bench. Let's see what it takes to get the components off and see how that body sits on there. All right, so we've got to get this off first, so we need to pull these 2. And there is a screw down here, same size. Screw down here, and then flip it over. There's one here, and this whole bracket comes off. So now we have to get these 2 screws out, this one and this one, to release the bracket underneath. So on the back, we have 4 screws involved here, and we have this one, and these 2, and that'll allow us to remove the skin. Okay, so we're going to put this back in place now and get it hooked in. Hopefully this will fit within the body, but we won't know until we try it. So this piece goes right down through here, just like so, and we'll go ahead and screw it back on. But we also have this piece. So let's get those in place. All right, before we get underneath here and put the other two screws in, I want to see if these are going to fit. So let's turn this thing sideways and we'll see if everything fits the way it's supposed to. Will this car make it work? Okay, it fits on the back. So with this sitting the way it is, look at this gap. This is because it's sitting up on the foam block. So we need to come up with a way to tell where that foam's going to hit on the body. So let's just reach in here. And I got a finger on top of the foam block right here just to show me where it's going to be. And it's right here. So putting a mark on it. There it is. So I got a mark here. That's where the body's at. So we're going to trim this off, and then we're going to flip it over and put it on this side, and we'll trim it off as well. And that will get these pieces down, and then this should fit inside of this just fine. Okay, so with these pieces taken off of here now, so nice removal there. This should fit the body just right, and of course we duplicated it on both sides, which should. And now it sits all the way down on the splitter, so that's good. Okay, so we have discovered a little bit of an issue here, and there aren't any body posts down there, so they're not there. They're actually over here, and that goes for each side. So they're offset. I'm assuming we're going to have to move these to the outer holes. Let's have a look here. And yeah, this needs to be moved over here. That one needs to be moved over there. The back ones do go in place, and it looks like these are going to have to come up a little bit. So let's get after that right now. Okay, let's check it for height. So that sits just right. Let's adjust the other one. Okay. So here's our problem now. It's in the back. Now that we've got the front fixed, we've got to bring these down. Hopefully they'll go down far enough to get that to sit where it belongs. So let's get after that next. It's still got to go down. Since they don't fit that way, perhaps we can run them up through the bottom like this, like that. And that might work. And it does. It does work. So that's got it sitting better. I can see a little clearance issue here. So we'll have to do a little trimming on the body. But that, I think that'll do it. That looks pretty good. Okay. So let's see if we can't get those fixed in. So now we got to get this through there. Well, that's just pretty good. I can deal with that. So everything sits good. We won't be using this then, because I'd have to cut out the license plate, but it wouldn't take it in total, and I don't want to take out part of it. I think we'll go ahead and leave this off and let it run like this. I like the way that suits it though. It goes right on, and the body's sitting just above it, so that's where it's supposed to sit. Okay, so now we're going to use some of this, and we're going to mark this out because I don't like the diffuser sticking out this far, the splitter. I think we need to cut it down. Plus, this one's been damaged, so we're going to trim this back. So we're going to mark the perimeter of this and leave about between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch sticking out on this. So let's get that done. Okay, so I'm going to remove all of the tape. I'm going to cut this all out, all the way along here, and it'll bring things closer to the body so it won't be quite so visible. One of the things I like about this hobby is you're never trapped into one kind of RC, even though this is really cool, right? This is just classic muscle car. It's really cool, but you would think, since it's 7th scale, that you'd be trapped into just this. But at the same time, things are a little different than that, because it doesn't take that much effort to switch it over to something equally as cool like that. Now, there were a few things that were required, and you do have to use your imagination. But at the same time, if you're a bit of a purist, you might consider, well, this has the bigger tires and wheels in the back, which means the gearing in the rear differential is different. And I know these are off the limit list, but this is a good example for this. If you want the same size tires and wheels all the way around it, so it gives it that purist look, like it's really an Infraction, you're going to have to change the rear differential. And there's 2 ways to do that. You can change the front diff with the gearing from the rear, but since these are the front tires, you're going to want one of these. And this is the front differential out of this RC. Now, the thing about it is, once you switch this to the back, you have the same gearing on both ends, which means you can run the smaller tires, and the gearing is set up for these so you don't lose any speed or any of that stuff. That's if you don't like the big wheels. Now, the thing about that is, I like the look of this. I think it is awesome, but there's a couple things we should talk about. Okay, so let's set this out of the way, and let's have a look at this. Now, we did have to adjust the front ones, so they had to be moved out. So these posts for the body, they had to be moved out, and they had to be raised up because of the difference in body style. But the back ones are a different story. They were in the right position. They were just way too high. Now, the thing about that is, we were able to turn these upside down and poke them through from the bottom, allowing us to sit the body right on the brace itself. That's something you may not have thought about, but there's nothing saying you can't do that. It doesn't interfere with the suspension. There's no problems with it. So that does work. Other than that, everything went really nicely. I was really impressed with how the body sat in the back, and the small trimming out front, that was easy too. All that being said, I'm really glad we have this on the shelf now. This is really cool. I love the look of it. I just think this is excellent, and if I get bored with it, I can put it back together as a Felony. But don't forget, there's a few things that have to go back on. So you got this front diffuser or headlight grille assembly, whatever. This is a skin that makes the front end look proper for the body, and for it to look right, you have to put that back. And of course, then we have the back piece. And I always thought this was a little bit weird in the first place, but with the body on it, it looks pretty cool. And don't forget this piece. This gives it kind of some class from the back. That's the exhaust system that goes on the Felony. All those are really simple to add and remove, but each time you switch back and forth from one body to the other, don't forget where your settings are for your posts so you can move them quickly, and you can switch it over in approximately 15 minutes. I think 15 minutes is all it would take to go from this to the other one. Also, on the back here, the trimming for the wheels was minor. It was pretty easy. If you're going to do that, do try to be steady and even with it, because jagged cuts are always rough. So if you haven't already, don't forget to bash that like button and help our content spread. You know, you're not limited to one thing. In this hobby, you can build anything you can imagine, as long as you're patient and you find the right parts to make it work, or you create the parts yourself. That's what really draws me to this hobby. I really enjoy being able to take one thing, which would be this, and turn it into something different that maybe you haven't thought of. If you have a build like this that you'd like to share, please get down in the comments and help others along the way. For AJ Jam Studios, I'm AJ saying, keep wrenching.